Still been getting hunted by mosquitoes. Alright, it's episode 114 of Genius Take the Wheel. I want to thank you for continuing to come on to these journeys with me. Shout out to Anton Daniels, who would say, thank you for continuing to rock with me. You guys see the title of today's stream. Being an introvert when people think you're an extrovert really sucks. It really does. So I figured I'd speak on it today. I don't know how many people can understand where I'm coming from, but I figured I'd try to express it. You know, when I was a young child, in addition to the abuse, there was a lot of neglect and a lot of got that bitch ass bitch. Yeah. Guys, I've been getting hunted by mosquitoes, and this brochure for BMW M driving school has been a godsend. Now the car wants me to to give it a command because I said the name of the car. These mosquitoes have been hunting me, but probably still more annoying than today's subject. Let me just kind of get past the fitness stuff. Today I made some really good strides in my training. I added a rep to my leg press. I finally solved the quality rep issue on the prone leg curl. I added the 4 reps I intended to add on the hack squat. So I did 4 sets of 12 at 135. So I'll be moving to 185 next time. And I defeated, very painfully, 130 pounds on the leg extension with 4 sets of 12. So I'll be moving up in weight to 150 pounds and coming down to sets of 8. So, you know, from a physical standpoint, training wise, I did pretty good. I think I'm going to try to hit shoulders today on schedule, but with I think I'm going to take the foot off the gas, because I think that going really hard on my shoulders has fatigued the stabilizers for my bench press for 2 days later. You know, I really don't have any anterior delt. I don't have enough to get the performance I want for my chest. So I think when I hit shoulders, I'm going to hit shoulders to kind of maintain, not to push ahead. So that I could continue to do better on the lifts that I care the most about, which right now is the bench press. All right, to the title of the stream. You know, when I was very young, the abuse was very severe, and it came from multiple vectors. Came from multiple different people in different situations. Even when I was removed from my mother's care when I was 2, I was still being abused in foster care. Hey, JL is here. How you doing? And I learned very early on that other people are to be prioritized ahead of me, that I don't matter very much. And part of that, part of the effects is that not really being heard, and having that being reinforced that I should not be heard unless somebody's doing something bad to me. I think that it kind of led to me speaking a lot louder in many situations than I actually needed to. My father also was a victim of that too. And I remember in his later years, can't believe I'm talking about my dad this way, but in his later years, even I would have to kind of remind him, hey, you don't have to speak that loud. I'm sitting right next to you. Like, he'd be right in my passenger seat. And people 3 blocks away can hear him. And I think a lot of that comes from, just not being heard for so long. And, you think if you speak a little bit louder, people will hear you, and that's really not the case. So I grew up knowing that I'm not a priority, I'm not important. Other people are more important than me. But there are times where I just think that it's important, like I have something important to say. I spent a lot of time not just by myself, but also trying to be by myself, because I did not want to alert my abusers to my active presence, because then I thought that would bring on more of the abuse. So I figured if I could just kind of disappear, that maybe I could just not be on anybody's radar, and then maybe something bad wouldn't happen to me that day or for that pocket of time. I've spent a lot of time by myself. When I escaped from my mother when I was 19, and I dealt with homelessness and all of that. When I finally got out of that cycle, I remember one time I was living on the Lower East Side because one of my managers at my job took pity on me and asked his father-in-law if I could stay in one of the rooms. I remember working overnight, then going straight home and holding myself up in that room for hours and hours and hours, because I felt so relieved that I finally felt safe, because even though I was renting a part of a living room, there were these 4 walls, these makeshift walls that kind of encased me. And I finally felt like for once nobody would do anything to me. And so I spent my early 20s just being grateful to be in a position where nobody would try to attack me in the middle of the night. And it felt like pleasure, just not being in constant danger all the time. Shout out to Traditionalist. Thank you for hanging out with me today. So, I've always tried to curry favor with others by being respectful and trying to provide some sort of value, be it anything that I've learned in life or maybe a little bit of uh, comedic relief, levity. Um, I always tried to bring something because I felt like, if people liked me, then, maybe bad things wouldn't happen to me. And um, I learned after making it out of the constantly abusive um, environment that living this way actually has some perks other than simple survival. And I've met some really good people, and I've gotten opportunities that I don't think that I would have gotten otherwise if I wasn't the way that I am, looking to provide value whenever possible. And I kind of feel like, I've kind of made my little corner of the world a little bit better too. And, it's really cool. But the problem with that is that people then think that, like, you're this extroverted person that just has all of this social energy, when in reality, it's just not the case. I put out a lot of social energy to do live streams. I put out a lot of social energy to cover the UFC, to try to make content, which is why I haven't made videos in weeks. It's really difficult. Actually, I made 2 videos last week and had some technical issues, and then something weird happened at home on Sunday, and maybe I just didn't react to it that well, and it's just been really hard to talk to people for like the last 5 days. There's a lot of times where I just can't help it. I just don't want to speak to anybody. And sometimes people take it personally. Sometimes people understand. It's weird. I got a call from my mother on Tuesday night. My mother almost never calls me. So, unfortunately, I'm always thinking like, oh, I'm getting a call from my mother's number. Somebody has passed away. Who is it this time? That's what happens when, you've had 3 or 4 of your mother's siblings self-terminate since 2012. So I try to give everybody as much as I can give of myself. I think due in part to the fact that so many people have given to me. I wouldn't say so many people, but the people that have given to me, they've given me a lot. And those who have given me a little, I still really cherish them because I know what it is like for people to take, and to take from me until it hurt me. To take from me until I wanted to hurt me. And so when people just give me just a little bit, I'm very, very grateful. And when people have given me a lot, I feel indebted to them. Not really understanding that I have standalone value as a human being, um, regardless. Not saying that I should be entitled to anything from anybody else. Well, maybe I should be entitled to not having people trying to harm me, because I really work to not harm other people. Maybe I should be entitled to that at least. But I kind of screwed myself when I put out behavioral patterns that suggest that I have much more to give socially than I actually do. And then people start to expect more from you. And that's not their fault. It's not their fault that, I smile and I laugh and I joke. And I try to help people, many times unsolicited. I guess I kind of do it to myself, but there are certain things that just remind me that my battery is very low. I do a very, very social profession that requires me to give a lot of emotional and psychological energy, not just emotional and psychological energy, but a lot of support for other people. And I don't complain. A lot of times, like, the people that I give support to, they apologize profusely for relying on me the way that they do. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it, knowing that it really is draining me. But I also do know that there are a lot of people who, if I really, really needed some help in a really, really bad position, they wouldn't complain. So I don't complain. Some of that is due to some of the really harsh lessons that I learned from surviving child abuse. Don't complain about other people being placed ahead of you as far as priority is concerned, their interest. And there are times where I still want to place other people as a priority above myself. Sometimes I just don't have it in me anymore. And I go through these pockets of time where it's just really, really hard to talk to people. And even if I wanted to say something, I just can't get the words out. And it sucks because the two ladies at home, I think that sometimes they might think that it has something to do with them. And I don't even have it in me to just say my battery is empty. And I just don't have it in me. I picked up the phone from my mother because I never know when it's going to be the last time. And it was some dead air as soon as I picked up the phone. And I'm just like, look, I'm just not in a great headspace. I'll try to be in a better headspace tomorrow. God damn it, I am being hunted by these fucking mosquitoes. What the fuck? I really wanted to call her back yesterday, but I just didn't have it. I didn't have it in me, y'all. So I watched the Mets game painfully by myself. I texted a little bit with a friend about the game, and I ate dinner, and I went to sleep. So I can get up in the morning, punish my legs, so that I could do this live stream. I didn't know what I was going to talk about, but then I was just like, damn, maybe I should just put this on wax. Maybe people might understand. Maybe people might think that, the person that's always laughing and joking in their lives, maybe they should check on them instead of just assuming they're okay. I think about the Robin Williamses of the world and how that type of guy, everybody thinks, oh, that guy's always laughing and joking. Everything is all good. And then it's like, no, not everything is all good, because that guy is giving from the energy that he does not have to try to keep other people comfortable. I love coaching. I love streaming. I'm very grateful that any of you give a crap enough to come and join what, and listen to whatever I have to say. You guys come here voluntarily. That is not lost on me. I'm forever grateful. And a lot of that is because growing up, nobody heard me. Nobody cared what I had to say. And they were quite effective at expressing the fact that they didn't care about me or anything that I had to say, or anything that I thought, or anything that I felt. So, there are people that I that I try to provide support to, that I think are living lives better than mine. I find out that, everybody's struggling. Find out everybody's struggling. And then I think, maybe I can be valuable to the world if I just support, the people who are actually doing important things in the world, like the Louis Rossmans of the world. I talk to Louis all the time. He tries to support me. He tries to, but, whenever he's going through something, even if I don't have the energy to really talk to anybody, I just try to make myself available. When I'm in the gym and I'm struggling to get myself to do the next rep, I try to motivate myself by motivating other people. Hey, Catherine, how you doing? I try to go out of my way to make people feel supported and safe. It's exhausting. And I think it's the right thing to do. But then when I'm at home and I can't even talk to the people that support me the most in life, they don't deserve that. They deserve more than that. And I try to give them more. I try to give them everything that I have. And sometimes I just run out of energy. I never run out of energy at an opportune time, at a great time, you know. Mrs. Evil might have thought that I was upset with her or something like that, because I haven't really been able to speak for days. And then she goes on a business trip, and I'm trying to force out text messages to let her know, hey, I'm thinking about you. It feels really comfortable to not communicate with people. And sometimes I yearn for communication. But most of the time, I'm like, damn. If you let me go for months without human contact, you'll just forget that I exist, because I'm not going to reach out. And a lot of times it's not like it's nobody's fault. It's just, I remember when the pandemic happened and they announced the lockdowns, and everybody was groaning and complaining about their freedoms, and they wanted to go outside. I'm not even gonna front. I was so happy. I don't have to go outside. I don't have to go anywhere for 3 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't have to go anywhere. Everybody else is complaining. And I'm like, I don't have to talk to people. I don't have to be around people for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then, 3 weeks turn into 3 months, turn into 6 months. I was in heaven. People are getting like cabin fever. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Yo, I'm just living the life out here. You know, 6, 7 months in, and like I'm super comfortable. And then I'm listening to people talk about how the isolation is harming the psychological and social development of the children, and people are complaining about the isolation. People complaining about like the isolation, like really getting to them. A bunch of relationships and marriages hit the dumps. And I was so happy to be by myself. And these are things that I never talk about. And when I tell people these things, they're like surprised. That's how I knew I was kind of being unfair towards people who wanted to get back to life and get back to the economy. I'm like, fuck the economy. Leave me the fuck alone. Let me just leave me be. I remember when I was going through some really bad depression, 2010, 11, 12. There would be 6 to 8 month stretches where I would not leave the house during the daytime. I would only leave the house at night. I spent so much time sleeping during the day, awake during the night, yelling at my computer screen as I'm rage playing Call of Duty, pissing off Mrs. Evil. I mean, she really wanted to end our relationship. And I can't even blame her. And I'm so thankful that she stuck it out with me all these years. I have not been the best mate. I've been better over the last, few years or so, but I know I can still be better, And some of you, I can see, some of you can relate, And sometimes, having these parasocial relationships with you viewers that I'm familiar with, a lot of times that's enough for me. That's enough communication for me. Catherine is in South America. That's thousands of miles away. Seditionalist is in Europe. That's thousands of miles and time zones away. And I could say something to you and you could type something back and it's all good, you know? And you know, I really try to let Mrs. Evil know, and Joy Walking. I really try to let both of them know how much I appreciate them. I don't really think that they really know how much I appreciate them, because of a lot of the struggles that I have that I don't talk about, and I really try to shield them from. But this has not been a good week. This has not been a good week for me. I know I can be better. I am better than I used to be. I think that they will tell you that much. But on a social level, I really don't have a lot to give at this very moment in time. Perhaps after getting all of this crap off my chest, maybe I'll start to feel better now. But I'm really hoping that it really does seem like some of you in the comments, you guys can relate. And maybe that's why we're on the internet, because that's the safest form of communication for introverts. But for you extroverts that fuck with me, shout out to the murder show. Fuck with me. um, for you extroverts out there, I would really like you to just kind of consider the people that always give you a lot of energy, but you don't hear from very often. You know, like, think about those people. Catherine asked about the autism test. I think that autism is wildly overplayed, and I think that a lot of modern day pressures have conditioned people to be a less optimal version of themselves. And then people just say, "Oh, I'm autistic," or "Oh, I'm mentally ill," when you're really just um, responding to some sort of trauma or other uh, undue pressure or some other contraindication. Um, I know where my problems come from. I just can't always predict when I'm going to run out of energy. Sometimes I just run out of energy. I just run out. You know, just check on the people. Check on the people in your life that try to give you a lot in the, you know, small windows of time that the small windows of time that that you have in their presence. I also say this too. There are people that I've known over the years that are really good people, legitimately good people. But I've had to remove them from my life. Um, Not necessarily because they are, not necessarily because they're bad people that needed to be extricated from my life, but because I've realized over the years that I've given I have to reevaluate the energy that I put out, because there are people out there that may not know they're doing this, but they're taking a lot and giving very little. And, emotional and psychological energy, it has to be replenished externally when you're given to so many external sources. You mean mental energy or physical? Actually, yeah, it does affect my physical. It definitely does. Yeah, definitely affects it. Um, like there was a woman that I had a crush on since high school, and I got a. Catherine says, the less people I have to talk to, the better. Yeah, I mean, it's like that. I mean, I've gotten to the point where if you're not paying me, I really don't want to hear your problems. Not because I don't want to hear your problems, but because I can't afford to. I remember this one woman. I mean, I had the deepest crush on this woman for a long time. And I didn't hear from her for over 2 years. And last week, I get a text out of the blue, with the cursory, um, she made, the usual apology when people disappear from your life, you know? Um, and I realized I've allowed this person to walk in and out of my life on their whim and taking a lot of my emotional and psychological energy, um, because I'm a simp. And I've already let other women go from my life who take but don't give. And some of you might think that this is overly harsh, but 99% of men care about three things: access to money, food, and sex. And with most women, they provide access to none of those things. So when they call you a friend, what they mean is somebody that can do a lot of emotional labor for them in exchange for nothing. Because most women don't have what it takes to provide adequate emotional labor for men, because most women don't understand men and don't care to. So when you tell a woman that you're interested in her and she says, "Oh, let's be friends," what she means is, I would like to get the benefits of what you would give me if you were my boyfriend, but I don't want to extend any of the benefits that I would give you if I were your girlfriend, because I'm not attracted to you, but I do need somebody to provide emotional labor for me. And the men I'm attracted to, I don't require them to give me emotional labor. And it doesn't mean that these women are bad or that they're users or whatever the red pill says necessarily. There are women that are like that, but not necessarily. They're not, there are really good women out there that they're just attracted to who they're attracted to and getting their emotional needs met. They're not going to say no if you're going to be stupid enough to give it, right? But I've had to remove some of those women from my life, women that I still have deep affection for. I've just had to remove them from my life because it takes too much energy from me in exchange for nothing. That puts energy back into me. And I don't mean this with any kind of like entitlement or I'm not salty at all. I talked to you about this other woman that I was into for 20 years, and she showed me that she really didn't value me. I still love that woman. I have not talked to that woman in over 2 years, and I'm still in love with her. I just can't talk to her because I had to show more respect for myself than affection for her. I don't have any hard feelings. I don't hate her. A woman I went on a date with last month that I never fell out of love with in almost 10 years. Her husband has some kind of weird problem with me, but not her other boyfriends. Oh, he doesn't want me to date you specifically. But hey, can you make an exception? Can we still be platonic friends? And it's like, listen, I don't have the energy for that. I love you enough to do it, but I love myself more because, seriously speaking, motherfucker, these mosquitoes are hunting me. What the fuck? And I've had to take like this hardline stance with women, and I don't want to. These are women that I care about. But the thing is, like, when I run out of psychological energy, who pays that price? The women that support me the most. I can't do that to them, and I'm not going to. And when I say that it's nothing personal, I really, really, truly mean that from the bottom of my heart because I hear what the rhetoric is out there. The rhetoric is saying that, these guys are all salty because you won't give them access to your body and they're acting all entitled to your body and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, you're acting like you're entitled to our affection, that you're entitled to our emotional labor, that you're entitled to our resources. And we're supposed to just give it away for nothing in return. And that's why there's so many miserable men out there, you know? And I'm non-monogamous, right? I'm not suffering the way a lot of these other men are suffering. But I don't understand why people believe that men are supposed to just put out all of this fucking energy and then be happy to get nothing in return. Like the exchange is, she gets your emotional labor and in return you get the opportunity to provide her with your emotional labor. And you're supposed to take that as like something that benefits you while you suffer in silence and people tell you that your problems don't matter and you need to man up. Nah, no, no, no. Kevin Sanders used to say, fair exchange is no robbery. You know, we men, we're very, very, very simple. And I just think that, you know, um, I just think that, some of us guys, the battery does empty out. And I think that it would be a good thing if we just kind of looked out for each other more. Let's just look out for each other a little bit more. JL, I appreciate you, brother. I'll see you on Saturday. I think there are going to be some more shitty fights for us to sit through together. Anyway, y'all, thank you for listening to me just kind of dump these thoughts out. Guys, take care of your guys and gals. Take care of your emotional batteries first before you take care of everybody else's, because when you run out of energy, people are just going to call you an asshole for not providing what they've become accustomed to being provided. You know? Seditionalist, you're funny as hell. But don't look out for me too much. I still like the social distance, yeah. Um, but yeah, just take care of the people in your life. See if they need something from you for once. Instead of just looking at that person as, oh, that's the person that gives. And then you end up giving to other people that just take. I think that's what a lot of people do. They give to the people they're attracted to, and they take from the people that they're unattracted to. And then when the people that they're unattracted to have nothing left to give, it's a problem. I don't know. Christopher Runge, thank you for strolling into the stream, even though I've been at this for almost an hour and I need to go eat some food. But yeah, maybe if you go back and listen to the beginning, maybe you might hear some things that you can relate to, you know? Um, or maybe you might learn something about the introverts in your life. And, you can have more successful relationships with the introverts in your life if you're an extrovert. And the thing is, us introverts don't mind giving. We don't mind giving. Just a little bit of acknowledgement sometimes is all that's necessary to kind of replenish some of our energy. You know. Catherine says maybe take breaks every 3 months so you do not completely crash. A long weekend in nature or whatever you like. Yeah, I actually need to do that. I need to do that. But I think one of the things that I'm doing is I'm also removing people from my life that I value and that I cherish and that I love that take and don't give. And I understand why those people go to me. I make people feel safe to take from me. And they've given to so many other people in their lives. And I'm their guilty pleasure that they take from. But I can no longer handle it. I cannot handle it anymore. And the more that I respect myself, the less energy I have to give to people that don't give back to me. And again, I say this with all the love and really a substantial amount of guilt. I say this with a lot of guilt as well, because these are people that I care about and that I want the best for. And I just don't have it to give to people who know how to give, but not give to me. Sorry to interrupt, but what do you drive? This is a 2022 BMW Z4 M40i in Misano blue. And they call this interior lava red. But the reason why I chose this color is because it's the closest thing to orange. It's kind of in between orange and red. But I am a big New York Mets fan. I am a big New York Knicks fan. And for those people who see this as red, I'm also a big New York Rangers fan. So I kind of get away with, both. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate that. I do these streams after I leave the gym. So if you chose to subscribe, I will be right back here on Saturday morning reporting, what my program is and how I'm progressing through that program. And I might have some social or personal commentary to give in addition to that. I do want to thank you guys for riding with me, even though I spent half of this time not riding at all. Many of you are longtime viewers. I really do appreciate you. A lot of you hit the like button. So I know that a lot of you can understand where I'm coming from, and that does mean a lot to me. For you introverts out there that has that extrovert in your life that you think doesn't really understand, and there was something here that you could relate to, share this with them. Maybe it might help them to understand you a little bit better. I might even send this to some of my clients. They might understand me a little bit better and the lengths that I go to give them service well above and beyond simply being their trainer. I don't know. I'm doing my best, y'all. I'll be back here on Saturday for you guys. Again, thank you so much for supporting me. This is probably one of the most vulnerable streams I've done in a really long time. Thank you for showing respect. Thank you for riding with me. And always remember, if you believe yourself to be a strong person, you're absolutely correct.